When I looked at the math tests, I saw some improvements but also some problems.
Yes, I noticed the same. They just don't get operations with fractions no matter how we teach them.
We had over 50% of the class get most all of the problems correct, but many struggled when adding and subtracting fractions. They also don't understand how to add and subtract mixed numbered or improper fractions.
When I looked at the work, I noticed the same thing. That is perplexing. What is it about this procedure that causes the students difficulty? Do we need to reteach this procedure and assign more practice problems?
I don't think that will help them improve. On several of my samples of student work, I noticed that the students neglected to find a common denominator. Many just added or subtracted as they would when adding and subtracting whole numbers. Why would they assume you can just add or subtract without finding a common denominator?
I saw the same thing. For example, Billy in my class seems to know that you add only the numerators and keep the denominators the same in the case of adding 1/2 plus 1/2, but he doesn't understand that in order to add or subtract fractions without a common denominator, you must first change to equivalent fractions with common denominators, as in the case 1/2 plus 1/4.
Several of my students made similar errors, like adding the numerators without first making equivalent fractions. Julie and others in my class had this same problem. Maybe these students don't have a clear understanding of what fractions represent. They might not understand the concept of equivalent fractions.
Do they understand why we need equivalent fractions to complete these operations? Do they understand the concept of an equivalent fraction?
We should begin our next lesson with a focus question that probes their understanding of equivalent fractions to help us begin to answer this question.